Hi, I'm here at the NIRI National Conference at the IR Magazine booth, joined by Darrell Heaps, CEO of Q4. Thanks for joining us, Darrell.
My pleasure. Nice to see you, Ben.
Sure. And so how's your conference going so far?
It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. It's always great to come to the conference and see many people that we only talk to, on the phone or email, etc. But so it's been wonderful.
Great. No, I know you've brought this new toy along with you. So tell me a little bit about it.
Oh, this is our my little friend. If you've seen any of our ads, that's what we're talking about. It's so we're releasing this new Alexa skill, which is the Alexa's version of an app, and it's really this voice-activated way to interact with all of our data and services. So it's the first release that we're doing in terms of this type of virtual assistant, but the idea is really to help IROs really have connectivity to all of the services that we have across, whether it's on their desktop or on their phone, or in this case through a device like Alexa. The amazing thing with Alexa and what Amazon is doing is that it's started now with this type of device, but really where it's going is Amazon's voice services, AVS, is really getting integrated into all sorts of different devices. So it'll soon be in your car and on your phone in a bunch of different places. So we're excited in terms of what we can do with extending our Q4 desktop, which is our IR CRM product, and really expanding that so that it's within arm's reach or reach of your voice. No matter where our clients are, they can access all the different services in a really slick and engaging way.
Sure. I mean, we often hear a lot about how IROs are asked to do more with less and so on, and so I think any kind of productivity hacks are fantastic. But for those of us who perhaps aren't familiar with how Alexa works or functions, perhaps you could sort of talk us through and maybe give us a little demo with the machine itself.
Sure, yeah. So there's a little bit of background noise here, so hopefully it'll work all right. So we'll have to maybe lean in just a little bit, but I'll turn it up just a little bit to make sure that we'll get some good sound. But yeah, we can do a quick demo. So we'll go, maybe we'll start with something really basic, not with just Q4, but just Alexa in general. We can just say, Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 3:41 p.m.
So see, that's pretty impressive.
That's accurate, yeah.
Very good, very good. All right, so then in order to ask services that are related to Q4, what we have to do is just ask her around things that Q4 can provide. So we'll start with basic stuff. Alexa, ask Q4 how my stock is performing today.
Your current stock price is 28.02. This is up 0.5 from its previous close. Current volume is 33,610,799.
So that's just really the beginning in terms of really getting information in terms of your stock price. So this is now connected into all of our different data sets, and we have a bunch of really interesting things in terms of this quant-driven AI aspects of the platform that really kind of communicate what you would normally get from like an analyst in terms of what's really driving your stock. So we can ask it, we're going to ask Alexa, Alexa, how are we performing in the market today? Oh wait, sorry, I got to ask Q4. Sure. So we'll stop. We'll go again. Alexa, ask Q4 how we're performing in the market.
It looks to me as if we have several mediocre-sized institutional buyers all competing for shares.
So that's just like a really quick example in terms of the kind of commentary. And as we continue building, that kind of set of commentary on what Alexa will give you information on is really expanding out quite broadly. So the other cool thing is that it's all connected into my calendar. So we can do a quick demo on that as well. So we'll ask Alexa, what's on my calendar for this afternoon?
This afternoon, there are 3 events. There are 2 events in progress. Hotel, Marriott Grand Lakes is an all-day event. Power Broker, the latest
Alexa,
from Wall Street.
And then you can also like set up a new event. So say, Alexa, create a calendar event for me inviting Ben Ashwal to drinks later.
Okay. What day and time?
So then we can go through, we won't go through everything, but then we can set up the time and what kind of drinks we're going to have and make sure we've got all that on our calendar. So thanks very much, Alexa.
Fantastic. Mine's an old-fashioned.
What day and time?
Very good.
Excellent. So in addition, sort of you and I have talked quite a bit actually about automation and sort of the impact that will have on the future of... Sure. on the future of IR. But of course, that's one of many sort of big technology trends taking place. You participated in an IR magazine webinar last week about sort of the new digital trends that are taking place in other areas outside of sort of automation. So I would love if you could talk me through some of the high-level highlights that you covered in that webinar for those people who weren't able to listen in.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I think one of the webinar was great. I mean, it was a good time having the discussion. We had joined with me on the panel was a client from Agnico Eagle, and Laurie did a fantastic job of moderating and taking us through everything. And the big trends are, I think, everything's really being driven by mobile. And even though it's now mobile isn't the number one use case, I mean, in some cases it is, where traffic is about 50% mobile. The style in terms of what's happening with websites is very much being driven by that same kind of experience of using mobile. And one of the main things is long scrolling. So what we're seeing is that websites now, it's no big deal to scroll. There used to be a time when it would be like you don't want to scroll, everything has to be above the fold. In today's world, people are okay to scroll, so we see these kind of like very, very long scrolling pages, responsive, so it works on any type of device, but where you actually have almost all the content of the site on one scrolling page that you can quickly get through. So that's probably one of the big kind of design aesthetics and the experience in terms of what we're seeing in most of the trends. The other interesting thing is we talked a bunch about ESG, and the ESG or CSR or SRI, no matter which kind of acronym you use to talk about this kind of environmental sustainability type of approach, the really interesting that we talked about is that the trends of how to communicate all of that, and that we've really turned the corner from it being something which was really kind of what companies would do because they were good corporate citizens, to being something which is really attracting investment dollars. Because what we see is that companies that really focus on ESG are outperforming their peers and are attracting a higher degree of capital than those that aren't. So that's a really interesting trend, which isn't necessarily about kind of design trends, but more in terms of what's really interesting is that we're now in a point in the world where really the ESG-driven companies are attracting more capital than those that aren't. So it's really money is driving a more sustainable future, which I think is certainly good for all of us on the web and beyond, just in terms of corporations really noticing and engaging in that, because it's not just to be a good citizen, which is good in its own respect, but it's the fact that it's driven by money. I think that that's a fantastic trend.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Darrell.